There's a guy over there. I don't want to talk. What? Apparently, not me.
No, apparently you.
Hey everybody, so this is going to be an update on the Corvette. We are sitting here at the end of June, still unable to drive the car because of a few fairly large issues. So to get down to it, first off, racing does not always go as planned. Even when teams like professional teams, F1, NASCAR, things happen to these cars all the time that are, doesn't matter what your budget is, doesn't matter what anything is, failures can happen. So in our case, we built a engine with all of the best components by one of the best builders. The builder has also built my S14 engine, which has been in my car for going on 4 years now. All we've done with that car and engine is just refresh it, open it up and look, and basically just close it back up and go. So the Corvette's engine, we had a rod bearing failure on number 6. The bearing grabbed on the crank, basically so much friction and heat from the failure. Huge plane flying over. That's what you get when you live right by the largest air base in Canada. We had a rod bearing failure on cylinder 6, and when you have a rod bearing failure, there's a couple things that can happen. The bearing can like fall out, or the failure has more to do with actually grabbing the crank due to too much friction, due to a number of different things. The tolerances, whatever it may be. When the bearing grabbed, the heat and the friction caused so much resistance that it actually seized the connecting rod to the crank, and it broke the connecting rod off, and it sent it into the cylinder bore, and it damaged the bore of the block, and it wrecked the crank, and it took out the cam, and it did a lot of stuff. All of this happened within about 5 minutes of running and driving after the dyno sessions, approximately a week later. We have exhausted and considered all possibilities for this failure. I'm sure you guys are going to be guessing. I know I'm going to be getting messages for pictures and all of these things to narrow it down, but just know that we are fully looking into it to cover our tracks and make sure that nothing like this ever happens again. Moving forward, Josh at FatMac Industry is already building us a new engine with the same specs. This time we are going to be engine dynoing the engine on a stand to isolate and remove all variables from when we dyno it on a chassis. So engine dynos are important because it shows you how healthy the engine is, and then when you put it in the chassis, you're going to see what the limitations of the exhaust, your intake, the chassis itself, drivetrain, carburetor style, ECU, triggers, like all that stuff that may be affecting the performance of the engine can be isolated, because we know that the engine makes this much power, whatever it may be. Probably around 850 is what we were assuming with this build based on similar built engines. So with all of that said, this is racing. This is how it goes. This is what happens. If you have had a perfect build, perfect season, perfect everything, then it just means you're that much closer to running into a problem. So we take it with stride, and we make sure that we do our due diligence and don't make the same mistake twice. That is always the best way to learn from hard lessons. So that's it for the video. You guys will see updates. We plan to have it sometime in the middle of July, ready to go. So with that, sometime in the middle of July. Sorry, I lost my train of mind. Because I get distracted, because people are watching, and then it makes me feel weird. That's why. Jack's watching too. Anyways, that is it for the video. We will be updating the Corvette stuff sometime in the middle of July. I don't know how the calendar and schedule looks for our videos, but we are off to the 50K. The S14 and myself are killing it behind the wheel and the car. We still need to get as much seat time as possible for, I won't say what I'm doing next year, because I haven't announced it yet, but we're doing some big things next year, and I need to stay in the seat and keep my skills sharp. So thank you guys for watching. That's a quick update. We will be back filming content from the 3 to 5 day schedule as soon as we can. Thank you guys for watching and all your support. That's it.